that no one spoke up for him. No one was his voice until the end, which was the lawyer. And what was touching in the documentary about that was that the lawyer, he also went through abuse as a child. And so he had he was so passionate about it because he knew somehow how it felt. He said he didn't know all the way because he was in abuse to the extreme that Gabriel Fernandez was, leading to death, but he still went through abuse. So he was really fighting for this baby, avenging his death, and making sure justice was served. So Pearl Fernandez, she got life without parole, and Gare, he got the death penalty with lethal injection. And so it's just a thing where he was fighting for this baby, being Gabriel's voice. And I felt like us, definitely as survivors, him as a survivor, he stood up. He fought for that baby to the end. And I'm pretty sure he had sleepless nights gathering the information and all of that to make sure his voice was heard and to make sure justice was served. Because no baby deserves to have hell on earth. God didn't create that baby for that. And you could tell just by his picture that he was a beautiful soul and so innocent. And you know, it's just unfortunate that a baby is your personal punching bag, you know? And then all they're looking for you to do is to love them. You know, that's all they want, is for their parent to love them. And he couldn't even get that. So I just want to say, just in finishing up here, that make sure that you're consistently moving forward in your journey, you loves, of healing, therapy, or if you're still in this situation, find resources to get you out, because you never know what day could be your last. And those that victims are trusting with their story to get out, please be supportive and listen and love, and just be supportive. Don't bring out any personal opinions or anything like that, anything that can stop them from leaving their abuser, no matter how close the abuser's to you, biologically, your friend, a coworker, your boss, anything. Make sure that you walk with integrity, regardless of who the person is, because you know what? Let's make sure we cry with them now and not cry for them later because we didn't believe them. Let's have empathy now. Let's act now. Don't make an abuse victim feel any more guilty than they already feel. And that's what gets me. That's why I kind of repeat some of the stuff that I do in like in the previous podcast, such as, the police threatening him and bullying him, saying that, oh, you're lying, you better not lie, or you'll go to jail. The baby already felt suicidal, felt like killing himself at 8 years old, okay? Then you're just gonna bully him to say, oh, you're not gonna lie. And, and it's like this baby, he was strong. He spoke up for himself a lot of times, even though he had fear of, it could get back to mom and boyfriend and I could be hurt worse, but he still had faith that somebody would help him, and nobody did. And it's hurtful. So you guys, when you're around these situations, don't turn a blind eye. Act and protect and love. Because a lot of times children, men or women, they don't have a voice during that time of abuse because, again, narcissist abusers, they suck your identity from you. Period. You are nothing to them. And they make you feel like you're nothing to them. And again, this is by humiliation. It's the key. That's why he always said, I will be a good boy. He was always humiliated for his brothers and sisters. He wasn't good enough, according to the parents. And so guess what? If my own parents are saying this, then it must be true. Because guess what? When you're younger, you look to your parents for love and guidance and what the world is. Because you don't know. You're new. And especially him being 8. Like, come on now. A baby. So, again, watch out for signs. And love your fellow man. And just make sure that you're loving each other. Another thing for humiliation, for those that have gone through it and are they left the abuser and are trying to work through those pains and stuff like that. The thing is this. It's all about, I use this verse, and I've been using this verse ever since I was little, but I definitely start saying it now because it helps me push forward, and it's, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Usually when you're humiliated definitely over a year span, you feel like nothing. Don't talk about low self-esteem. You don't have any self-esteem. Okay, period. And you don't know what you can do. You just know what you can't do. And that's, you can't do anything. And why? Because the abuser ingrained that in your mind that you can't do anything. So what I would suggest is write down a list of all your passions and things that you want to do. And try one of them. Set a goal. Put it on the calendar. I will do this. And it could be because depending on how people react to abuse and how long it went on and the intensity, everyone's different. Everyone's affected differently. Some people are homicidal after abuse. Some people are suicidal. Some people want to get healing. It just depends. Everybody's affected differently. And so, an example of you reaching a goal of not feeling like you have self-esteem could be something as simple as going to get coffee in the break room. And the reason why you didn't get coffee in the break room is because you'll be scared of someone saying that you're not doing your work correctly or you're not a good worker because you went and got coffee. And I know it sounds crazy. It really does, right? But in a severe abusive environment, if you are in that environment, you have to reprogram your mind. And some things that are simple for other people, like getting coffee, everybody else. And the crazy thing is, everybody else in your role can get coffee before they work. And it's okay. But you feel like when you get the coffee, you're lazy, you're not a good worker. All these false narratives come in your head because those abusers' negative thoughts are rotating. So you begin to do negative self-talk, like, what if my boss feels like I'm playing in the break room? Or what if there's no coffee and I have to make some, so it takes extra time? So again, they'll fire me. Like, all these illogical thoughts come up in your head because you had horrific surprises in your life when it came to an abuser that you didn't think that would come. So you're thinking about all these possibilities of what can happen that are negative. And trust me, I know. Due to my and definitely my therapist was working with me. One of my personal problems that I did go through as an adult after going no contact at 25, I'm 27 now, was going to the restroom at work. And I felt like a little child because I was scared that I would lose my job if I went to the restroom. So I would hold it until my break, and it could be several hours because I was just scared. I was scared they'd be like, oh, I'm going to fire you because you went to the restroom, and they'll think I'm not a good worker, they think I don't have a good work ethic, or they think I'm playing, so I won't go. And this is me as an adult. I'm 25 years old. There are elementary school kids that go to the restroom with no problem. Me, 25, I'm freaking out. And I can't even focus on the work because I'm debating, should I use the restroom and risk my job, or should I just hold it and then just hurry up when I get on my break and get out and use the restroom. Like, these little things, it seems little to other people, but when it comes to abuse survivors, some things that seem little aren't so little. It's huge undertakings. So, end up going to therapy. I went to my therapist. I was speaking to her about that. I was like, I'm scared to go to the restroom. I'm scared that I'm going to get fired. And I feel like something horrible is going to happen if I go to the restroom. Because even as, a child, things happen when I went to the restroom at a certain time and things like that. And very painful consequences. And so my mind was reflecting on that, on the past. It was going back. And so I'm talking to the therapist. She was like, you're an adult and you can use the restroom. It's fine. remember you're not a child. And that's a lot of my